Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Glow Up Guide podcast. So, today I wanted to talk about something that I feel like would be very relevant to a lot of you guys listening, busy students or young adults, and that's how to pull off the ultimate balancing act. It's something that every student and young adult is expected to know how to do, but no one ever talks about how to do it. High school students are expected to do everything and be just fine, but a lot of the times that could not be further from the truth. Holy crap. And as someone who somewhat successfully manages it all as an honor student athlete with a 4.0, who does a bunch of other things, I wanted to share my experience on how I mostly keep it together. This episode is not to tell you that you aren't doing enough. I'm 1,000% sure that you are. I know that sometimes a lot of students like me don't necessarily struggle with time management, but rather how to manage doing so many different things, which does not have to do with time management. Well, I mean, it kind of does, but a different aspect of it. So I thought my experiences would be very valuable. Anyways, I have a lot of different announcements I have to make. So podcast stuff, very exciting news. I am very, very happy about it, as you can tell. So I was going to mention this last week, but I just completely spaced. But for the last 2 weeks, I have been on Pinterest. I launched a Pinterest account. So please go follow me on Pinterest. It's the same handle as Instagram. It's just a Glow Up Guide podcast. Please go check me out there. Even though I only have maybe 5 pins up, please go follow me. Please support. Help me out however you can. And then another exciting news I have been on for a week. Yeah, a week. Is I recently got on YouTube. And this is something I've been meaning to do for a very, very long time. Did not realize it was so simple, mind you. It took me about 10 minutes to set the entire thing up. And then they sent me an email a couple hours later saying, yeah, everything's uploaded. Could have done that a year ago. But anyways, I am now on YouTube and I have all my episodes up on there and a couple of shorts published. So please, please, please go subscribe to my YouTube account. It would really, really help. And then, yeah, those are my exciting announcements. And then life updates. Not much has been going on. I mean, it's kind of just like a slumpy period, I guess, because school's ending soon. So yeah, it's just about keeping it together for the last little bit of the year. But Saturday was a very hectic day, actually. I had to wake up and do a bunch of stuff, and then I had to go to a volunteering thing with my friend, and then there was a college admissions webinar that me and my mom had to log on to. And then there was my friend's birthday party, which was really, really fun. So yeah, and then that's what's happening. And then, the other big thing is, I know I mentioned this last week, but I do have my permit test tomorrow. Well, actually, no, I have it Monday. And it's Monday by the time everyone's listening to this. So yeah, I have my permit test, which is very, very exciting. I'm going to learn how to drive soon. I'm pretty sure my dad's going to teach me how to drive over the summer. So I'm really, really excited about that. Very new experience, but I have been studying for my permit test and I'm honestly kind of excited. This is the only test I've ever been excited for, oddly enough. Actually, no, I don't think that's weird. Tests kind of suck, but not my permit test. Okay, so before moving on, let's do one thing we're grateful for and one thing we're happy about, plus our book of the week. So, one thing I'm grateful for, let's see. Okay, so one that I have definitely mentioned tons and tons of times, but it's definitely having close friends. I'm very extroverted, so I do have a lot of friends, but I have almost no close friends, people I would actually talk to, people I would actually hang out with outside of school. I don't have a lot of close friends, and that's just I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Quality over quantity. So I'm fine with having only a couple close friends, but I'm really and truly grateful for those close friends I have. Because my life would really suck without them. So that's why I'm really, really thankful for these people, because besides your family, these are the first people that you come running to with anything, really, any struggles, any news, anything exciting, random thoughts. And these are just they're your people. I mean, they're your people. These are the people who, yeah, these are your people. That was kind of long winded, but anyways, that's what I'm truly, truly thankful for. And then one thing I'm happy about, school's gonna be done in 2 weeks. I am so excited. Love this time of year. School is finally ending after a semi-hellish year. Very, very excited about that, for the record. So thank God. Really, the only classes where I have real work right now is English, because we have our freaking Shakespeare performances, which is not exciting. No, hate that. Absolutely hate performing. I would have rather written an essay instead. And then I have a history test on Tuesday, and then a history project due the last week of school. So those are really the only classes where I'm doing work. The rest of my teachers just kind of gave up. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, anyways, and book of the week, I do not have one. Again, I do not have one. Technically, I'm still reading the same book as I was talking about last week, but trust me when I tell you, I will be having a book recommendation every single week starting 2 weeks from now when school ends. Okay, so let's get into the actual episode. I do a ton of content on time management and productivity, but I realized I have never done an episode on how to actually manage it all with so many different things always going on. It's like so many different streams of nonsense being fired at you at all times. The main difference between the two types of episodes is that time management is all about optimizing your schedule and getting tasks done efficiently and effectively, and then being able to balance everything. Now, that's more about maintaining a working harmony between all the many aspects of your busy life. It's about making sure you're not just a high performing student, but a well rounded individual. Balance means giving enough attention to academics and things that matter to you, but also making sure that you take care of things like your mental health, cultivate healthy relationships with others, and pursue hobbies and other activities that truly just bring you joy. Another key difference is that balance involves a holistic perspective. It's not just about your achievements, but also your personal growth and relationships. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family, or there's a hobby you've been wanting to work on a little bit more, or something that you've been just neglecting. These activities might not be traditionally productive, but they are essential to your well being and need to be integrated into your daily routine. Balancing a bunch of different things also involves adaptability and flexibility. While time management often involves sticking to a rigid schedule, balance it requires you to adjust priorities as they come. Maybe a sudden family commitment comes up, or you just feel overwhelmed with your schoolwork. Balance is about being okay with altering your plans and not feeling guilty about it. It's about understanding that life isn't always predictable, and that's perfectly okay. Finally, balance is also about creating sustainable habits. It's not just about what you can achieve in short periods of time, but how you can maintain a healthy lifestyle over a long period of time. Unlike productivity, which might focus on the immediate results, balance looks at building a foundation for long term success and well being. This means developing good habits you can actually stick to. Balance plays a crucial role in your emotional and mental well being. In the hustle and bustle of high school life, it is so insanely easy to really get caught up in the tornado of assignments, sports practices, club meetings, and a social life. We often think that being busy means being productive, but there is a significant difference between the two. Imagine running on a treadmill that just keeps getting faster and faster. Like, okay, sure, you're moving, but are you really getting anywhere meaningful, or are you burning yourself out? Side note, this is exactly why I refuse to run on treadmills. Like, yes, you're working out, but why run so much to not get anywhere? And that's also exactly how burnout works. Balance is about recognizing when to step off that treadmill, even if it's just for a quick moment to catch your breath and slow down a little bit. Unlike productivity, which emphasizes output or how much you can achieve in a certain period, balance is all about input, how your activities impact your emotional and mental state. Think of your mind and your energy as a finite resource. Actually, never mind, it is a finite resource. Anyways, when you constantly push yourself to do more and more without taking time to recharge, you risk depleting that precious resource, leading to stress, anxiety, or worst case, burnout. Balance calls for moments of pause and reflection. It's about being mindful of how you feel and taking proactive steps to manage stress before it eats you alive. Essentially, you want to make time to get things done, but also make time for yourself. That's balance. Okay, so now that we've gotten kind of our foundational stuff covered, I wanted to talk about the tips I use nearly every single day, honestly, to implement balance into my own life. A really great first step is doing a time audit, seeing how you actually spend your time over the course of a week. This is a great first step because you can actually learn how your time is spent instead of guessing and making rough estimates. You probably spend a lot more time doing nonsense that does really nothing for you than you think you do. It's a great way to see exactly where your time goes each day, because time is your most valuable and most limited resource as a busy student. The first step in doing a time audit is writing out everything you do and how long you spend on each activity. I mean absolutely everything, whether it's attending classes, doing homework, working out, working a job, or even just scrolling on social media. Write it down. Then, at the end of the week, review your notes. Look for the patterns. Are there activities taking more time than you thought? Or maybe you just discovered pockets of time to fit in other things or a break that you really needed. Next, identify the time wasters, the real enemies. We all have them, those moments that we could use far more effectively than we actually do. Maybe it's too much screen time. That's one a lot of you might relate to. Recognizing these things can help make you make the small but very necessary adjustments that add up to significant gains. Finally, you want to make a real plan. Actually use your notes and patterns you found to change your schedule. For example, if you notice that you're most productive in the morning, do the harder things in the morning. Or if the evenings are better for relaxation, make sure you protect that time for yourself. By doing a time audit, you gain control and clarity over your schedule. It's about understanding where your time goes and making it work for you, so you can balance school, sports, clubs, and whatever else you may be doing more effectively. Give it a try, and you might be surprised at how much time you can reclaim for what really matters. Next strategy, and I have to say this 1,000,000,000,000,000,000%, this is the number one thing I do to manage everything in my busy life, and that is procrastination. Or not procrastination, that was a horrible mistake. Prioritization. And I know I said we weren't talking about time management today. I want to take prioritization with a different angle today. I know that whenever I talk about prioritization, I always talk about how you should try your damn hardest to cut the things that don't really need to be done or were delegated to you or whatever. Essentially, what I have been telling you to do there is optimized for efficiency and effectiveness, which is the main thing of time management. Doing more with less. But prioritization is also key to a balanced life. And in this context, prioritization means assessing whether the things you do actually matter to you or not. Do you genuinely care about something like an extracurricular, or are you doing it for whatever dumb reason there is? I know in high school, a lot of people, so many people, are just trying to do what they think is right or will look impressive on a college application or a resume, or really what everyone else is doing, yada, yada, yada. And I say this because I hear my friends talking about this stuff all the damn time. I hear people in general talking about this stuff all the damn time. And it is good to be concerned for your future and try to make sure you are creating a good path for your present self, but ultimately a path that will compound positively for your future self. I'm not saying to not do that and be like, oh, well, the future doesn't matter, because it does matter. It matters so much. Essentially, though, everyone is always focused on doing whatever seems right. But there really is no right path because we are not all the same. You and I are probably very different. Sometimes my parents joke about how different me and my brother are, like we're not even siblings, which we are, of course, but you get the point. My brother is fully math and science oriented. Everything has to have a specific answer and preferably something that can be measured. And then there's me who despises math and science. Well, maybe not despises, but I dislike it very much. I hate one-answer questions. It's way too easy to get it wrong. I love to create things. So we're very different people. My path right now, I already know it's going to be insanely different from my brother in a couple years. I'm a high school podcast host. My brother's 100% going to be one of those like high school fancy app developers out there or something close enough. And those are the paths that are right for us. I chose the path that is right for me. My brother's going to take the path that's right for him. Okay, I mean, that was kind of a long tangent, but choosing what matters to you is ultimately going to cut out what doesn't matter. By saying yes to what does matter, you're saying no to what doesn't matter, and vice versa. Essentially, high schoolers spend too much time on focusing on the things that are right or impressive. Choose to spend your time doing the things that actually matter to you. Another strategy I absolutely love and will die on a hill with is time blocking. I talk about this all the time because I use it literally every single day and it works so well. Well, it works really well for me. Depends on the person. Anyways, when you're juggling so many things, time blocking can help you plan out how you're going to get all those things done. And I can confidently say that it works really, really well. Anyways, what is time blocking? Probably wondering that now that I've hyped it up so much. Very simple strategy. Essentially, you take a certain period of time, like a day or a week most commonly, and block out different sections of time for different tasks. You might honestly use this and not even realize that you are, which is great. Keep doing that. Okay, so imagine you have a busy day packed with club meetings, classes, sports, or work. If you have a part-time job, instead of feeling overwhelmed by this pile of chaos, you block out specific times in your schedule for each thing. For instance, 8 to 10 a.m. is dedicated only to classwork. And then from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m., you might focus on things you need to do for clubs. Like, it's kind of like building a puzzle with your day, where each piece fits perfectly into place, making the big picture clear. Time blocking is essentially about creating a dedicated schedule where you assign specific tasks to specific time slots. The key here is commitment. Once you set a time block, you have to treat it like a non-negotiable appointment. It's not just a suggestion, it's a part of your disciplined routine. But also be gentle with yourself. Like if something runs over or plans change, you have to adapt and adjust and move on. It's about creating a structure that works. Also include buffers between time blocks. These are small, tiny blocks of time between tasks to catch your breath, grab a snack, or just stretch. This keeps you from burning out and allows for a moment to rest and reset before diving into the next task. Time blocking isn't just about productivity. It ultimately contributes to a more balanced life where you can successfully manage responsibilities and have time for yourself. I also love time blocking because it takes away the need to make decisions. You don't have to finish a task and then be left with no idea what to do next. Time blocking already decided that for you. There's no need to overthink and procrastinate doing things. Google Calendar is actually really easy to use for time blocking and scheduling in general because you can actually see the time chunks you create. This works well for visual people, but really it works for anyone. I use Google Calendar all the time, as most of you probably know by now. Sometimes seeing the time block can make it a lot easier for it to stick with some people. Give it a try and you might find it becomes your favorite strategy too. The next practical tip I use almost every day, or scratch that, I do use it every day, and that is creating to-do lists for the many different aspects of my life. This approach does seem more like time management stuff, but I assure you I am focusing on a different part of these to-do lists. The point is not that I list out every single task I need to do for the day and get everything done. The point is I create different lists for the different parts of my life to do it all successfully. It's about creating a sense of balance. Instead of having just one massively overwhelming to-do list, I have different lists for different categories. I have one list for schoolwork or related tasks, another for personal tasks, another for podcast tasks, another for my club tasks, and a fifth one for scholarship application stuff. This way, I make sure I'm not just hyper-focusing on one area while neglecting all the others. My school list keeps me on top of my assignments and tests I need to study for. And the personal list reminds me to do stuff like buying birthday gifts and submitting RSVPs. The podcast list keeps me on track with this podcast, of course, especially since I'm currently working on significant expansion and monetization. So that just list keeps things moving. Having these separate lists helps me visualize what needs my attention and makes it really easy to see what needs to be prioritized. This is a great strategy that helps me not only stay productive, but also allows me to take time for myself and maintain a healthy balance. This method allows me to approach each day with clarity, knowing that I have a plan for the most important aspects of my life. Ultimately, balance isn't about cramming as much as you can into your schedule, but rather about giving each part of your life the attention it needs. I use Google Keep for these 5 lists. School, personal, clubs, podcasts, and scholarship applications stay pinned at the top, so I can see them right when I open Google Keep. At the start of each day, I update the dates and add or delete tasks as needed for the day. Then I just go about my day and check things off as they get done. Very simple. Takes me about a minute each day, but in the long run saves me so much time. I also color code my list to make it pretty, because why the heck not? Pretty things are fun. Personal stuff is pink, school and scholarship applications are gray, podcasts are blue. This also works well for visual people, like color coding things. I don't know. Anyways, hours wasted on things I just forgot to do come back to me. Random useless things that don't actually need to be done. None of that happens anymore, thanks to these categorized lists. And you can set the system up in probably less than 5 minutes. By using these focused to-do lists, you can achieve harmony and make sure you're growing and thriving in every area. Okay, so another big one that might not necessarily instantly come to mind when we're balancing many different commitments, but that is sleeping enough. I can honestly say that sleeping is actually a huge part of how I'm able to do so much every single day. It sounds so stupid and simple, but we are high school students. Sleep is the first thing that goes in the back burner. It's not a priority for many, including me when I first started high school. But now I can confidently say sleeping enough is a massive part of how I'm able to function in my insane chaos all the damn time. It sounds so, ridiculously simple, but it's also so important despite how many of us seem to ignore it. It's not just about feeling well rested. It's about giving your mind and body the chance to recover and recharge. When you prioritize sleep and go to bed on time, I guarantee you, there will be a significant improvement in how well you can focus, manage stress, and stay productive throughout the day. It's like hitting the reset button, allowing me to approach each day with a fresh perspective and newfound energy. To make sleep a priority, I set a consistent bedtime and create a relaxing nighttime routine. This might include activities like reading a book, listening to calming music, or practicing mindfulness. One of my episodes from the first couple months of this podcast is on night routines. I'm pretty sure it's episode 15. I could be wrong, but definitely go give that a listen. Making sleep a non-negotiable part of your routine better allows you to balance all the many aspects of daily life. Taking care of yourself is really the key to being able to do it all, because sometimes what you actually need is just a break from the chaos. Another strategy that you guys might not like all that well, but I'm going to talk about anyways because it is so important, is saying no to the things that don't actually matter to you or your goals. It might seem counterintuitive. After all, we are talking about how to do everything as a busy student, so why on earth would I tell you to start saying no? The thing is, as students, we're constantly bombarded with so many incredible opportunities. There are clubs to join, projects to undertake, social events to attend, and so much more. I know I always say that you should say yes to everything and take advantage of the opportunities available to you, because that's exactly what I did, and I could not be more thankful to all these opportunities that have opened up for me. After all, your teenage years are shorter than you think. But obviously, that goes to an extent. It's easy to feel like you should do everything and be part of all of that stuff. But time and energy aren't limitless. Again, time is your most valuable and most limited resource as a student. Hell, I have more gold to my name than time at this point. Anyways, if you try to do it all, you run the risk of spreading yourself too thin, which can pretty easily lead to stress and burnout. So what's the solution? It's learning to say no. Saying no isn't about doing less. It's about doing more of what truly matters to you. It's about understanding your limits, recognizing your priorities, and making sure you have enough time and energy for them. When you say no to an opportunity that doesn't align with your goals or could overload your schedule, you are actually saying yes to more focus and dedication to your opportunities, whether that's academics, personal project, or some leisure time you desperately need. It is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things. And by right things, I mean the things that are right for you. So do those things that are right for you really well. Don't ever be afraid to say no. It's probably the most powerful tool you have in your bank to keep your life balanced and your mind clear and a bit more sane. Okay, so those were all my practical strategies for how to balance everything as a busy student. So now I wanted to talk about how balance takes a holistic approach to balancing everything. By holistic approach, I'm referring to the idea of looking at your life as a whole rather than focusing on each component like academics or extracurriculars. Think of your busy life as a tree. One branch might be academics, sports might be another, and personal hobbies could also be another. There's a lot more you could add to that, but those are just some starters. Each branch contributes to the overall health and growth of a tree. If we focus too much on just one branch, we might neglect the other branches that are equally important to the tree's health. This holistic perspective means recognizing that there are parts of your life that may not fit the traditional definition of productivity, like in the academic sense, but are still vital to your personal well-being and happiness. For instance, spending time with friends and family might not be something you put on a resume or college application, but these interactions are foundational to your emotional support system. They help build the resilience and perspective needed to face the challenges of life. Similarly, engaging in hobbies and activities purely for enjoyment, like painting, playing an instrument, or just reading a book, are the kinds of things that feed your soul. They are not mere distractors from the supposedly serious or important parts, but essential components of a balanced life. They foster creativity, reduce stress, and provide a new sense of fulfillment. When was the last time you did something for the fun of it? How did it make you feel? If your schedule is jam-packed with things that you just have to do, try to carve out time for the activities you want to do. These moments of joy and relaxation are what make life rich and meaningful. Take a moment to reflect on your current routine. Are you making time for relationships or activities that do bring you happiness? Are you actually taking the time to do the things that contribute to the overall health of the tree, not just one branch? Because at the end of the day, balance is about making sure that each part of your life gets the attention it deserves, creating a harmonious and fulfilling life. So now that we've talked about the importance of your emotional health and holistic perspective, let's dive into another aspect of finding and maintaining balance: adaptability and feasibility. I am so insanely unpredictable. The only thing that ever changes about life is that it is always changing. It makes sense once you let it sink in. Anyways, things change all the damn time, whether it's an unexpected family commitment, a surprise school project or assignment, or just a day where nothing goes right. While time management often suggests the importance of a rigid schedule, which is still very important as long as it's not ironclad, balance takes a different approach. Balance requires adaptability and the willingness to be flexible with your plans. Think of your life as a river. Sometimes the current is smooth, and other times it's wild and unpredictable. Adaptability is like being a skilled kayaker on that bumpy river. You're able to navigate the twists and turns without completely falling apart. It's about being open to changes and ready to adjust your priorities as needed. Let's take a scenario I'm sure all of us have been in at least once. Probably a lot more. This happens to me all the damn time. But anyways, let's say you have very carefully and meticulously planned out your week. But out of somewhere, something happens. Your best friend needs you to help with something. Or you're just not feeling the best. Balance means recognizing that it's okay to rearrange your priorities. Maybe you do need to reschedule some tasks or take a mental health day. Flexibility allows you to maintain your well-being in the event of change. This ensures you're not just meeting obligations all the time, like a robot, but you're also taking care of yourself. Adaptability also means being resilient in the face of failure. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, things don't always go as planned. We got a failed test, a project that didn't turn out as expected, whatever it may be. These are opportunities to learn and grow. Balance involves viewing setbacks not as roadblocks, but rather as stepping stones to improvement. Some people may find it really easy to pivot and make things work, and some may find that next to impossible. And then for people like me, it really just does depend on the day. But being flexible is what matters in creating a daily balanced life. So much more than you think. Embracing adaptability means being kind to yourself and acknowledging that life's unpredictability is just another part of the journey. By cultivating adaptability and flexibility, you build resilience and ensure you can navigate life's uncertainties with grace. Okay, so now before moving on, I want to talk about long-term sustenance of a balanced lifestyle. When we think about balance, it's important not to consider just how we manage our day-to-day, but also how we set ourselves up for success in the long term. This is where sustainable habits come into play. Sustainable habits are those small, consistent actions that ultimately contribute to your overall well-being and success over the long term. Unlike quick fixes or temporary boosts in productivity, these habits are designed to support a healthy, balanced lifestyle for a long time to come. Long-term sustenance means creating a lifestyle that supports both your immediate goals and your future aspirations. For instance, developing a regular and consistent sleep routine not only boosts your daily focus and energy, but also supports your long-term health and cognitive function. Similarly, maintaining a balanced diet and exercising regularly can improve your physical health and in turn your mental clarity, making you so much more resilient to the stresses of academic life. You want to begin by identifying areas of your life you feel are imbalanced for whatever reason. It may be your study habits or routines, your social life, or just your self-care routine or the lack of one. Once you have pinned down those areas, it's best to start with small steps and build over a long period of time, rather than to make insane changes you can barely maintain for a week. So think about that one habit you would like to improve or develop. How can you incorporate that habit into your daily routine in a way that's actually manageable and sustainable? Whether it's dedicating just 10 minutes a day to reading just for the fun of it, or a commitment to a weekly family thing, these small actions can lead to a significant, lasting improvement in your overall balance and well-being. So achieving balance is not a one-time goal, but a really, really long journey. By focusing on long-term sustenance, you can ensure that your efforts today contribute to a fulfilling, more balanced life tomorrow. As you move forward, remember that balance is not made by complete perfection, but progress. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small wins along the way. Okay, so that was all I had to say for this episode today. I really and truly do hope that helps. I know this was all stuff I wished I knew before I started high school, and I really hope it helps you guys out too. To end off our episode today, I have a quote for you guys from Angela Duckworth, and it goes, "Many of us, it seems, quit what we start far too early and far too often. Even more than the effort, a gritty persona puts it in on a single day. What matters is that they wake up the next day and the next, ready to get on that treadmill and keep going." Bye, guys. Please rate, review, follow, and share this podcast. Please, please, please go follow me on Instagram and Pinterest at the Glow Up Guide Podcast. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, drink some water, and I love you all.